Hey folks, Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. This is a show I've had for a while where I'm a big fan of Big Van Vader and always felt WWE dropped the ball on him. And he also should be in WWE Hall of Fame hopefully next year. Because I know he's had health issues and hopefully he can get in there before he passes away. But I always felt WWE dropped the ball on him, especially in 1996. So this is a fantasy booking of how WWE should have booked him in 1996. Now, of course, Vader did end up leaving WCW right when Nitro went on the air. He got in a backstage fight with Paul Orndorff and was subsequently fired from the company. Here's my idea. Jim Cornette was able to somehow convince Vader and convince Vince to have an agreement where Vince would pay half of Vader's shoulder surgery that he needed, that as to why he got written off TV right after attacking Gorilla Monsoon, and then got brought back to TV way too soon. Vince and Vader have an agreement, thanks to Jim Cornette, that Vader is able to get the shoulder surgery. Vader pays for half, Vince pays for half, and then Vader pays Vince back, with some of his pay-per-view payoffs for the length of his contract. I mean, yeah, shoulder surgery is expensive, but the whole point is this is at the end of September, so they haven't reached a full agreement on the contract yet, but they've reached a handshake agreement, and Vader agrees to come on and sign a contract as soon as all the smoke is clear with WCW. So Vader comes on normally, gets about 3.5 months, almost 4 months to recover. So, okay, he gets that, and that to be enough time to really recover from shoulder surgery for the most part. Vader makes his debut in the Rumble. Same typical stuff. Has a brawl with Yokozuna, has a good showing, beats up Savio Vega, beats up, I believe, Doug Gilbert at one point. That was really good. And then they have Vader attack Monsoon the next night. And Vader is suspended. Gives him a little more time to have time off, to fully recover and train and everything for about a month, to get back into better shape and everything, because he could have that one-off match. And then have the attack on Gorilla Monsoon, because you got to keep that in there, because that's really what got Vader over. and then he takes a little more time off, trains. I don't want to say gets his weight under control, but gets to where maybe Vince likes it a little more, and he's not a little bulkier, but in a little bit better shape, and gets his cardio up and everything. So okay, then you have In Your House, Rage in the Cage. The February pay-per-view right before WrestleMania 12, where he runs in, and during the Yokozuna British Bulldog match, Vader runs in and attacks Yokozuna, and thus will lead to Vader, Owen, and Bulldog having the camp of Cornette, or Camp Cornette. They have their mutual bond. Vader, Owen, and Bulldog versus Owen, Roberts, and Yokozuna, or Ahmed, Roberts, and Yokozuna, rather. Where that's about the only thing you could do with Ahmed Johnson, because he couldn't really work a match on his own, because he was shit. And, sorry, Ahmed Johnson was shit in the ring. But Vader manages to get the pin there, and so Yokozuna does not get his chance to beat up Jim Cornette for 5 minutes. And then you have where Roddy Piper is still, Roddy Piper, basically, you have Roddy Piper and other authority figures and stuff like that. They start putting obstacles in front of Vader. Because Vader's just mauling through people. He's mauling through people on Raw, mauling through people on the syndicated shows. He's just destroying people. And he's unstoppable, and Cornette's even getting to the point where maybe he's not able to control him either. So In Your House, Good Friend, Better Enemies, you go with the same match where Vader beats Razor Ramon. It turns out to be Razor Ramon's last WWE pay-per-view match for actually about 6 years. And then he had one at WrestleMania like 18, and then a singles match against Bradshaw at Backlash 2002. But so he beats Razor Ramon, and then you go to In Your House, Beware of Dog, and the second one, because of the severe thunderstorm and all that, it's decided that since Vader wants to keep attacking people, he'd attacked Jake Roberts during Raw, during this time, right after Good Friends, Better Enemies. Started turning his focus on the veterans, and saying, Jake, you're washed up and everything. I was dominating WCW. You came in for a cup of coffee, which is true. Roberts was only in WCW for a little bit, and that was actually when Vader, right around the time Vader had lost the WCW title to Ron Simmons in Baltimore, August 1992, which is a great match, by the way. I recommend you check it out on WWE Network. And the reaction of people when Ron Simmons wins the title. Anyway, Vader is pitted against two guys. He says, I'll take them both on. It's like, I'm not done with Yokozuna. I'll take him on. I'll take Jake Roberts on anytime. So you're going to face both of them at the pay-per-view. So he faces Yokozuna. And it's about, even though Yoko at that point is about 2,000 pounds. I mean, look, R.I.P. Yoko, but the guy got so huge, it was insane. He manages to pin Yokozuna after about, say, a 12-minute match. 12-minute match where, I mean, yeah, there's some stalling, there's some stuff, but Yoko almost beats him. Vader manages to beat him with the moonsault. And then faces Jake Roberts right after, and Jake Roberts runs out there. Well, dashes out there as quick as he can. And Roberts, attacks Vader because Roberts had been attacked by Vader before. So you have that. You have Vader basically on the defensive for a little bit, and then he manages to beat up Roberts. Jake goes for the DDT. Vader runs him in the corner. Vader picks him up, throws him in, like, say, a belly-to-belly, that kind of stuff. Or actually picks him up in the uranagi, throws him down. Then hits the moonsault, 1, 2, 3. And Roberts is selling his ribs, which tells the story for King of the Ring. Which, that's where you're going to go with Roberts still not taking time off. Wants to prove he can still do it. His ribs are beat up. And Vader manages to keep targeting the ribs, and Jake Roberts wins by DQ because Vader will not let up. So that's Vader's first loss, technically, in WWE. So you're building him up pretty strong, and you don't have him beat clean, but then Roberts loses to Austin. You still have Austin go on, have that great King of the Ring speech and run that he had. And then you have the build-up on Raw with the International Incident 6-man tag, which we're still going with, which is Shawn, Sid, and Ahmed Johnson versus Vader, Bulldog, and Owen, Camp Cornette. And like at the pay-per-view, like at the original pay-per-view, which was a very fun pay-per-view, by the way. I recommend checking the In Your House pay-per-views, not all of them, but a good amount of them were actually pretty good. Vader pinned Shawn. So suddenly, Shawn takes the loss here after not losing the Bulldog. And, he's beat Diesel. He's beat Bulldog at 2 pay-per-views. And now, even though the title was on the line, he took a loss. And you build up this whole thing with Shawn and Vader. And can the boyhood dreams survive? Can all this stuff survive? And yeah, I know that it would be asking a lot to take that kind of creative freedom and everything out of Shawn's hands. But Vince putting his foot down says, no, we're going to go with Vader. That you are the guy for the future. We want to go with Vader. Vader is a hot commodity right now. There's more sympathy to be built up with you if you lose a title. So, we don't do the DQ, or we don't do the count out, we don't do the DQ, we do straight up where Vader, after 23 minutes, beats Shawn. And this is the way you do it. Super kick, Vader goes in the corner, clotheslines him, picks him up in the uranagi, throws him down, hits 1 moonsault, hits 2 moonsaults, hits 3 moonsaults. 1, 2, 3. It's Vader time, and he is the WWF champion. Now, I'm not saying that Vader would have been able to carry the title very long, even if he had beaten Shawn. But it would have been nice to give him the title at least then till Survivor Series. So in my fantasy booking, he beats him at SummerSlam. He destroys Shawn at SummerSlam. And he's one of the first guys that's been able to do so. I mean, Owen Hart was able to take him out and, give him that vicious kick and everything. And Diesel was able to beat down Shawn, but Shawn didn't stay down or lose the title. And Vader finally destroys Shawn after like 23 minutes. Those 3 moonsaults. That's the way you do it. And then you go into the In Your House pay-per-views and Survivor Series. So like In Your House Mind Games, Vader and Sid feud. And Vader manages to beat Sid, of course, because Shawn was still kind of feuding with Vader. Shawn then gets distracted by Mankind, so Shawn and Mankind still have their great match. They had it in your house, Mind Games. But Vader beats Sid, and he beats Sid when Sid ends up getting hit with the racket by Cornette, who, by the way, Sid sells it because Sid's a pro. And Vader manages to pick him up and hit the moonsault 1, 2, 3. So Sid says, hey, you didn't, says in a backstage interview later, look at the footage, you didn't beat me clean. You need your little tennis elbow buddy. You need your little tennis girl buddy or something like that. Sid says something weird or whatever about Cornette. I mean, I love Cornette. I'm just saying Sid would say something off the wall about Cornette. But then, so later in the night, because Vader still is upset at Shawn, even though he beat him clean, Shawn is still kind of needling him and everything and saying, I'm going to get my title back at some point. Sid and Shawn kind of had their uneasy alliance and stuff like that. They try to interfere. Vader and Sid try to interfere in the Shawn Mankind main event, which is still the main event because even though a title should be in the main event, this was a hell of a match and still should be the main event of pay-per-view. And they brawl to the back. They try to interfere, but then they end up brawling in the back. So then, what happens is you have Vader and Shawn, or not Vader and Shawn, but you have Sid and Shawn versus Vader, and I don't know. It's like you can't throw Mankind in there because Mankind's got the Buried Alive match, but you throw Mankind in there. Anyway, because they're making people work double duty because a lot of people are leaving. A lot of people are leaving to go to WCW to get that guaranteed money. So Mankind's going to work twice. So you have that tag match. Vader and Mankind versus Sid and Shawn. And you have an uneasy alliance between Vader and Mankind. They had that respect, but they also had that rivalry. But, from back in WCW and that time in Germany when, Mankind got his ear thrown off, torn off, pushed off. It was gross. But Sid and Shawn end up having finally a bit of a blow up where Sid basically ends up, it was like Shawn at one point accidentally super kicks Sid, which causes Sid to get pinned. Sid blows up the next night saying, I deserve, a one-on-one rematch. Shawn is saying he deserves a one-on-one rematch. Sid picks up Shawn, drills him. So Vader and Mankind win at the pay-per-view, by the way, in Your House Buried Alive. And you then have Vader versus Sid, free TV for the title. Shawn interferes at one point while the referee is down. It's like, hits an elbow drop or something. I'll just say hits sweep chin music because, it's like I thought do an elbow drop, but no, because that takes a lot of setup. He hits a super kick. Sid staggers. Vader manages to hit, the Vader bomb. 1, 2, 3. So of course, again, Sid doesn't look totally weak. It takes some shenanigans, but Vader manages to win. So Vader is still the champion. You don't have him defend the title at Survivor Series. You got enough matches going on as it is. You got Shawn and Sid in their grudge match. You have Vader as part of a better, let's just say a better Survivor Series elimination match where him and one partner are the sole survivors. And then you have that whole thing with that partner, and the partner could be, I don't want to say Bulldog, but the partner could be, I don't know, like say Fake Razor or something like that. It's Fake Razor, and Fake Razor demands a title shot against Vader the next night, and Vader just squashes him in like 2 minutes. But back to Survivor Series, Vader, who's still upset at Shawn, because Shawn keeps interfering in his matches. Shawn and Sid are having their grudge match, and this is just an all-out war and this kind of stuff. There's ref bumps and stuff like that, but no one's calling for the bell, but it's just still a grudge match. They're just beating the holy piss out of each other, and since it's in Madison Square Garden, the crowd's cheering Sid big time. So Shawn may not have the title, but Sid's still getting cheered. He distracts Shawn. At one point, running down, Vader attacks Jose Lothario. Vader goes to attack Jose Lothario. Jose manages to get out of the way. Cornette stops him. Cornette stops him and says, no, 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 no. You know, because Cornette and Jose had their like little blow-off match at In Your House Mind Games. And Cornette was like, at this point, no, no, Vader, you know, you're the champion. Don't get the title stripped from you. Sid manages to still do the camera spot, hitting Jose. Sean goes to the outside, camera shot, powerbomb 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Sid doesn't win the championship, but he still gets his glory at the end. It might seem like a weird way to use the champion by not having him defend the title at Survivor Series, but it's part of a bigger story. It's a way at this point where Vader says, until I get a worthy challenger, I'm not going to defend it at a pay-per-view. So, again, Vader manages to distract, and Sean then loses. And then you go to In Your House, It's Time, where you have a three-way match. We're going to finally blow up this whole thing with Vader, Sean, and Sid. You have major, just all out war all over the place. Triple threat, no disqualification. After 20 minutes, Sean kicks Sid. Vader smashes Sean in the corner. I mean, it's like just the instant he kicks Sid. Sid falls over to the side. Sean in the corner. Sean's, kind of stumbling around or whatever because he's tired. Vader just smashes him in the corner. And Sean just can't get up. Vader bombed to Sid, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Sid's taken some losses, but this is like the first really clean loss that he took. I mean, yeah, he took some losses. I mean, I don't like Sid necessarily eating losses, but you want to build up Vader strong, have him beat a guy like Sid. So yeah, Sean doesn't get pinned, but later in that build between that and the Rumble, Sid and Sean are going to have their revenge match because Sean is still upset at Sid for what happened to Jose Lothario, who was okay, by the way. And you have that blow-off match in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome. But then you have at the Royal Rumble, you have Undertaker versus Vader. Undertaker versus Vader, where Undertaker almost has the win. Referee gets knocked down. Paul Bearer manages to, distract the ref. Vader goes to attack Taker. Ref falls to the outside accidentally. Paul Bearer takes the urn and cracks it over the ref's head. And then cracks it over Undertaker's head. And has to crack it over him 3 times. Now this isn't the course to say like 5 minutes because Taker's beating up Vader at this point, and when he almost has to win, he's gonna put up Vader for a choke slam after 2 cracks in the head with the urn. Bearer rears back and hits him, and that finally staggers him and knocks him out enough where Vader manages to get him, hits the moonsault. Referee finally gets back in the ring. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, some shady stuff, but still, you're going with it where Vader retains the championship. And yes, again, poor Sid, Vader manages to retain at In Your House Fatal 4-Way. And then you go to WrestleMania 13, where you would have a better match between Vader and Taker. But the funniest thing is, you put Sid in the mid-card, teaming with Mankind. Where yes, Vader and Mankind as a team would be kind of cool. But you have them team up after this. For the next few months. Vader and Taker have their match. Sid and Mankind have a match against Owen and Bulldog and don't win because Owen and Bulldog have to keep titles. Taker finally defeats Big Van Vader. Finally defeats him. You can still have the shenanigans with Bret Hart feeling that he was wronged in the Rumble in a Fatal 4-Way and pushes Vince and all that kind of stuff. And Shawn Michaels at ringside because he lost his smile and had to go home. But this way you build Vader as an unstoppable monster. And also somebody that will do anything to get victories. And then Cornette is still... I put Cornette at ringside for this, even though I don't think at that point he was doing much ringside stuff. I would put Cornette at ringside for this match at WrestleMania 13, and he takes a chokeslam from Taker, who's a safe worker and will do just fine, and Cornette won't shatter his knees. So Taker wins championship. Vader has a nice 7 to 8 month run with the title. You built up Vader properly as a monster. And then you go on from there. You can have him compete for the IC title, compete for the tag team championships, whatever. But the whole point is in this 14 months. Yeah, I skipped over some stuff or whatever. It's it would be hard to book every single Raw, it would be hard to do that. But you build all that up. That's how you booked Vader. That's how they should have booked Vader. Because honestly, that's how you would build him up as an unstoppable monster. He would have been one of the best WWF champions they had. Now, yes, there were some DQ finishes and that kind of stuff, and some fluky finishes. But you would build up Vader proper. Lend the title more credibility. Sorry, it wouldn't have lent as much credibility as if you kept it on Shawn. The title started to lose some meaning. So that's my opinion, and that's how I would have booked Vader in WWE in 1996, early 1997. And then, of course, after that you can book him however. The whole point is that he would have at least had a 7 to 8 month run. So what do you guys think? Did you like how I booked him? And also, what do you think of the other fantasy booking shows I've done? Because I did some. I haven't done ones for about a year. What do you think of them? I got them on this playlist. Like, share, comment, subscribe also. It's been Real Honesty with Jar Mifflin. I'm Jar Mifflin, and I'll see you soon.